And from McCART IFL TV, delighted to be joined by Mr. Dave Coldwell this Sunday evening. Dave, I just said before I pushed record there, I'm glad you took the makeup off. In fact, I'm probably not. I wouldn't have minded that scare. If nobody's seen this, go on Dave Coldwell's Instagram and look at his Halloween costume from last night. It was phenomenal. I mean, the makeup was unreal. I'm kind of half wishing you did have it on. That would have been a good interview.
You know what, mate, that was so hard to get off. We got in probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, trying to get all that makeup off. I'm asking my missus how am I supposed to do it, and it was hard work, and it's sore on the eyes, mate. But the girl that did the makeup, she did her whole family and everything. My daughter was DJing. It was a big Halloween theme, obviously. So we dressed apart as a family, so it was a good night.
Yeah, I looked at me. It definitely did. And you said that you didn't get in until 3:30 this morning. So I'm guessing you didn't see the fight straight away. You must have watched it this morning.
This morning, yeah. I wasn't. Listen, beforehand, I wasn't gonna get it. I was tempted with the Wardley fight, and I'd have probably got it for the Wardley fight if I couldn't find, a repeat showing or something like that on YouTube. But then while we was out, as you do, you look at your phone and saw a picture of Fury on the floor, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I was like, "I've got to get it." So this morning when I woke up, I bought the pay-per-view and watched it back this morning. So I knew the result, obviously. So it's not quite the same as watching it live. And that there's a bit of drama. Obviously you've seen that there's the controversy and everything. But I kind of just watched it for myself and just to see, how this happened, because I got it completely wrong. I got it completely wrong. And I'm not the only one.
Nope.
I did say that I thought, Ngannou wouldn't have any fear, would I? This is a man that faces elbows, forearms, kicks, and everything. You know what I mean? So he's not got any fear of a guy wearing bigger gloves, just punching. But that pad work they released, talk about a red herring, because I just thought that Fury's going to be able to do absolutely anything he wants because he looks so slow and terrible with it. So when it comes to fighting now, when it comes to watching it back, that first round, I thought, okay, I'm a bit impressed. Is completely different to what I thought. And obviously, as the fight developed, he was a lot better than what I thought.
When you mentioned the red herring and all, did you think that he was pulling the wool over our eyes with this pad work? Because he did, like you said, it was this boom, just like this methodical, this really slow shots to the body into the pad work. And you think he was trying to half play a mind game there, or was that just, I don't know, was he trying to pull the wool over our eyes or something?
Quite possibly, because the element of surprise in battle is quite a powerful tool to have. And obviously we don't know him as a stand-up, just pure boxing sort of sense. Nobody knows anything about what he's going to be like. So if you're just going to show a version, and it's very, as fans, as people in boxing, obviously we only judge on what we see. If you're Tyson, Fury, obviously he's been trained by Mike Tyson, but if you're Tyson Fury, and this is a guy that you're getting paid absolute millions to fight, and everybody's saying how it's an exhibition, it's a joke, it's this, it's that, then you see that footage, I could understand why I might have mentally kind of like just thought, mate, this is going to be a walking park. He genuinely can't do anything with me. Because I've seen it with fighters at lower level, people that aren't as talented as a Tyson Fury, people that, prospects coming through, even champions, everybody can be guilty of taking somebody lightly. So when you see this and there is no footage, there is no, and then you see the one bit of boxing footage and you think, he's shit, because I saw that and I just thought, wow, he's got. I generally thought, when we've seen Fury go to the ropes and just use his levers and just palm them off and play about, do a bit of rope-a-dope and stuff like that. I thought, looking at that pad work footage, I thought he can do that if he wants to make it a little bit interesting for the fans. But right straight away, the ring generalship of Ngannou surprised me. Straight away he was jabbing to the body, he was throwing the right hands to the body underneath the elbow. It was a lot smarter and a lot clever than what I thought it was going to be. I just look at that and think it's a shame he's 37 years old, because I'd like him to have some time to develop and see see how far he could go.
What I will say about Ngannou is when Tyson Fury was trying to feint as well, Ngannou wasn't trying to draw Ngannou's lead. Ngannou wasn't falling for it. I don't know if that was because the MMA background or if that's something you had worked on, but it seemed like every time Fury was trying to feint and draw a lead, nothing was coming back. Ngannou was just staying in that position. He wasn't coming over his front leg. He was just staying there and waiting for Tyson to engage, and then he would throw. It was either a smart game plan or I don't know.
I tell you what, that quick left hook, I know the left hook dropped him, but before that, you could see him, he threw it a couple of times where Fury throw that 1-2 and he looked to count with a quick left hook. It missed beforehand and then it landed in the third. He was looking to set traps. He was setting traps for him. But it was a man that was, like I said, he got no fear. But he was a man that was very, very comfortable in knowing what he's capable of doing. And he wasn't worried about what the man in front of him is doing. And a lot of times that, in any sort of sport, people overthink what the man in front of them is going to do or the team or whatever, rather than focusing on what they're good at and what they know they can do themselves. The kind of like reactive rather than proactive. And I thought Ngannou, he played his part really, really well in that, in being disciplined. And there must have been a lot of question marks in his mind. I know everybody believes the fit, but this is the guy that does I know the 5-minute rounds, but 5 rounds. When you go in 6, 7, 8, 9, and you've got 10 rounds, there must have been a few little question marks in your head, and I thought he managed the pace really well. But I thought a lot of that was down to because Fury never got, from what I watched, I didn't think Fury ever got his range. I thought he did a lot of punching, but it was almost, it sounds bad because this is the heavyweight champion that I'm criticizing. But if it was a young fighter, a young prospect, you'd be saying you're punching from too far out of range. You're not landing, but you just keep punching at the same sort of range rather than adjusting and committing. But it seemed as though Fury was uncomfortable to commit. And he was very, very wary about his much vaunted power. And all the way through the fight, he never looked comfortable. Out of the two guys that were in there, Ngannou looked more comfortable in that situation than what I thought Fury did. It was very, very strange. You kind of, you've got to remember he's in with a novice in boxing sense. I know it's MMA, he's experienced MMA and what have you, but this is a novice. You imagine if this is roles reversed when they're doing these crossover fights. I always think, if it's a one-off fight, what's the point? Oh, it's the money and everything, intrigue, but they should do a 2-fight series where you come into my sport, then I go into your sport. Because then you'd see the difference. Would if Fury went into, if they had a rematch or if the first fight was in a cage, would Ngannou be hesitant and be wary about what Fury was going to do? No, he wouldn't. He'd go about doing what. This is where, to me, Ngannou's swum the channel and he's looked fantastic. It's a plus point all round for him because he's gone into a different discipline right in off the bat against the best, and he's come out and his stock's through the roof. He's come out and he's been absolutely fantastic. I could never envisage a fighter going into an MMA cage with the best that's in the MMA. Obviously, guys at a lower level, yeah, but not the best, and be able to cope with the shit that they do, and be able to perform like to the level that Ngannou did. I think that'd be. It's 2 different disciplines, and that's why I think you've got to give Ngannou his credit because it's been stripped away by a lot of what he can do. The punching on the target bit, on the boxing target bit in boxing is only a little bit of what they do in MMA. I mean, I'm not no MMA expert. I don't watch it, but basically you get what I'm saying. He's done really, really well to strip away a lot of what he's used to for all his life at 37 years old, to go in and to be disciplined in the boxing sense and to perform like that, but not at a mediocre level, to go in at the top level.
What we'll say, obviously, we have to give Ngannou his credit because nobody saw that coming. I'm like you, Dave. I was thinking maybe Tyson 6 rounds. I think Tyson would have got him out there in 6 rounds. That's what I said, and I was wrong. But what we'll say on Tyson now, Dave, even when I ask you on a fight week, if I was to ask you in a press conference, let's say it's Muhammad Ali or Hopi Price, and I said to you on a Thursday at press conference, Hopi Price is fighting X fighter. If he beats him, does he fight Z fighter? You'll be like, no. We need to think about X fighter right now, and then we'll talk about Z fighter, right? The Usyk fight was signed 3 weeks ago. Posters were up on Instagram. Yeah, that's what I mean. So was that a mistake to do that? Was that a mistake to put that in the back of Tyson's Fury mind? Because Tyson's going into that fight, don't get cut, don't get elbows, shoulders, don't do anything dangerous, just play about. And when it got to the point when it was starting to get dangerous, you seen Tyson go, oh, fuck. Now I'm in a fight. But you put that in the back of his mind that there is that fight after it, and you're looking past Ngannou.
So there are people out there that will say, that makes no difference. That shouldn't make a difference. You should be disciplined. You should be this. You should be that. You ask any fighter out there, any fighter that's watching this interview, right? Your last spar of camp. You know this is your last spar. You go into that spar. Literally, so many fighters absolutely hate that last spar. In case they knock the thumb, hurt the hand, get a cut, hurt a rib, anything. Everybody is wary about that last spar in case they get injured or something happens that puts them out of the fight that's in 9-10 days away. Now, that's part of camp. That's what you have to do. But Bellew used to hate the last spar. Everybody does. Everybody's, because there's times where that last spar, you get an injury, you do get a cut, something goes wrong, and then everything you prepared for, everything you worked for is gone. Now, imagine the money that they're getting for this Usyk fight is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It really is. So I don't care how much money you've got. Everybody that's got big money, all your rich billionaires, they were millionaires before they got to billionaires. They kept striving, kept chasing that become a billionaire. Then you get 1 billionaire, they chase to get more. Nobody just stops. When they get money, they want more money. So there's not this thing where once you've got money, you're not bothered about it anymore. If somebody's going to stick unbelievable amounts of money in front of you, all you've got to do is to get through this fight. I don't care who you are, you're going to be thinking about the next fight. And like you say, shitting yourself about breaking your hands, about getting cut, about anything. Never mind losing. But if you feel as though you're going to piss the fight, you just don't want to have an accident. You just don't want to have a cut. I'm not making excuses for that. Listen, at the end of the day, it is nothing to do with me. Either way, I have no emotion towards him. So I'm not making excuses for him. At the same time I've got to understand what might be going off in his head. Now, once it becomes a case that you find your arse on the floor in the 3rd round, you've kind of got to forget about that shit and just think, right, if that's what's holding you back and if that's what's making you be hesitant, once you find yourself on the floor in the 3rd round and it's not been going great anyway, you've then got to think, fuck the next fight, I need to get out of this fight. And then you turn on whatever may be, don't worry about it. And get the win and get rid of this fella or make sure you win convincingly. But I still, after that 3rd round, obviously he's going to be more wary, but he still, for me, never kind of like went up through the gears. He couldn't go up through the gears. He couldn't switch it on.
Why do you think that was? Obviously, I watched the whole build up, the whole fight week, and it was a spectacle, man. I was enjoying it every single second of it. I was enjoying watching the 2 Ronaldos rock up, Eminem rock up, Frank Gore, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, Chuck Liddell, all these guys from combat sports, football, music, all rocking up every hour. It was phenomenal to watch it. And the whole fight week was, again, going to the fight weeks that we know, because I've never been to Saudi Arabia with that sort of razzmatazz, is that fighters are tunnel vision, get the press conference done, get the weigh-in done. That seemed to be like selfie after selfie after dinner after dinner. It seemed to be more of a show than it was a fight, that whole fight week. Do you know what I mean? And maybe, again, that played a little part, because we know Tyson, when he comes to fight, he fights, he switches on. Wilder fights, Klitschko fights. He knows how to scrap. It just feels like maybe we know that wasn't the real Tyson in there. So,
but hang on, you can't. I get that, because I was sat at home seeing my Instagram and looking at all these pictures. I'm like, fucking, I wish I was out there.
Yeah,
Generally, I was like, when it first got announced, it's one of those where I'm not really bothered about a fight. Anybody that asks me, I'm not really bothered about it. It's an exhibition. It is what it is. I understand it. Blah blah blah. But I wasn't bothered about it. Once you start seeing what's happening, it's like, shit. All your heroes are out there. Everybody from the football and the boxing world. And I'm like, shit, I wish I was there like a little kid again. Feel like you're missing out. But if you're saying that has an effect on Fury, then did it not have an effect on Ngannou too? Because Fury's the guy that's been rubbing shoulders with fame and celebrity for a good few years now. Fury's the guy that is the ultimate showman, walking into WWE and absolutely bossing it. It looks like remember when he did all that, it looked like he belonged in that sort of environment. So you can't tell me that he's not used to all that sort of shit. No. You know, everywhere he goes, he's a guy that's getting, people asking for selfies, shouting his name, screaming. So if you're going to say make allowances for him with the build-up and everything like that, I'm sure Ngannou hasn't had all this before. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. I just, you know what, when the final bell went, Dave, what I'll ask you this question is, when that, obviously you knew the result before you watched the fight.
Yeah.
So it's more of a delayed reaction here, but you watched the fight. Did Tyson nick it for you, or what did Ngannou win? Did you score it?
I thought for me, I don't think it was a robbery. It wasn't a robbery like a disgusting robbery that it's one-sided. There's a chance the other guy won. But I just thought that in a fight where there's a lot of missing, there was a lot of missing. There's punches thrown, but there's a lot of punches that was being missed. Like I said, I always felt as if Fury was punching a lot from out of range. Some clean shots. I mean, case in point, round one, Ngannou comes out and he's sticking the jab to the body, he's throwing that nice right hand downstairs. He was doing that throughout the fight. He was landing some good shots. He was landing nice shots. There was a round that was, apart from the knockdown, was clear, where he catches Fury with a cluster of punches that makes Fury look like he's unsteady, in trouble. I felt like the clearer the shots were probably Ngannou's, and I had the feeling that Ngannou was the one that was comfortable. I had the ring, I had more control of the ring, more control of the pace. So I thought that Fury lost it, and I know a lot of people after 4. I think I heard Frampton say that he'd not. I had it about the same. But I was thinking that before Frampton piped up and said what he thought it was after 4 rounds, I think it was. But yeah, I just kind of thought, watching it myself, I didn't think Fury won it. And when it went to the decision, it was like, I understand. It's not a good look for the sport. There's always shit judges, but it's all about opinions of the judges, and I don't know who the judges were, but it's like, it's not a good look when you have a fight that's announced before and it's going to be done, after blah 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 in the same territory and everything like that. It's not a good look when then there's a margin for it being so controversial. A lot of people are just going to say, and it's a lot where a lot of people that don't like Fury will say he got beat, end of. A lot of people that like Fury will say, oh no, he just scraped by it. But I feel as though all neutrals kind of went with Ngannou. But it's just my perception of the fight. I'm not, like I said, I didn't feel as though Fury's punches were altogether in range. I felt as though he missed with a lot of punches, and he might have thrown more. I don't know punch. I don't really know the punch stats on it.
He landed more punches.
Right, but I don't. When I'm saying punch stats, I mean this punch stats where you see numbers come up on a TV screen.
Yeah.
I don't know what method they use out there or in America, the CompuBox, but from what I know of punch stats, is it's guys in a van watching the fight and score, and every time a punch lands, clicking a button. What's the difference between that and a fucking judge sat ringside, right? You can't. Again, it's somebody's opinions of what lands. So when people are going out banging on about punch stats, well, that means that he won. That's definite. It's not definitive, because it's still, all it is guys in a van pressing a button. Unless that's changed, I'd like to know.
I have no idea, Dave. Maybe we'll find out the answer after this interview. Obviously, after the verdict was announced and Fury got the nod, Usyk jumped in the ring, and it seemed like, for me, I was excited before the fight to get Usyk in the ring. When I knew Usyk was in Saudi Arabia, I was thinking, yeah, it was flat, it was deflated. It wasn't that buzz that we were all expecting. Has this fight with Ngannou took the shine off that undisputed fight a little bit for you?
Yeah, because if you're Tyson Fury, and the way that you talk and the way that you're talking, calling everybody sausage, and the way that you're saying that this guy from MMA is, you're not got a chance, you can do what you want with him, and you're slagging this fighter off, that fighter off, and the whole carry on and everything, and then you go and perform like that, you are going to get the shit, and people are going to give you criticism, and you can't knock them, because you put yourself up on that pedestal. But then also, that's why we're drawn to him. That's why you're asking me about him, because he's got a divisive character. So whether you love or hate him, or whether you agree what he says or you don't agree what he says, you have an opinion on him. There's a lot of good fighters out there. You don't really give a shit about them when they speak, so you don't listen to interviews. You don't really take any notice of them, so you don't watch them when they fight, because they don't grab your attention. Look at what he's just done, Tyson Fury. He's whatever whatever you want to say about him, it's come from a guy that listen, he got beat off of John McDermott, right? But he got it. And you look at that Tyson Fury, and then you look at what that man went on to go and do inside boxing and outside of boxing, the whole WWE crossover, everything. And then look at this, what he's just done here. An unbelievable achievement. Unbelievable. So when we can slag him off and say, don't like how he speaks, this, that. But that is why he is what he is, and that is why he's making the coin he is, and that's why he's so divisive as what he is. So everybody's tuning in, and he gets big numbers because of how he is. So although you can slag him off, or although you can say it's not my cup of tea, you don't like him, blah, 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 you have to respect what he's done. You have to, because every single one of us would, well, there's a few people in the world that wouldn't, but the majority of us would swap our bank accounts for his. The majority of us, that want to succeed in life, I'd like to share the success that he's had. So it's easy to go off at deep end, and I have impact. I mean, I'm getting older, so I'm probably seeing things a little bit more rounded. But it's not my cup of tea. It's the whole way he is and everything. It's not really my cup of tea, but I've got loads of respect for him. But when it comes and the wheels fall off, or you don't shine, people are going to come at you because you've put yourself in there, and it goes for the same for anybody. And that's what people are doing. And people have been dying for him to look shit, dying for him to get beat. And so now's their opportunity. So now they're going to come for him hard. And the whole in-ring announcement of the Usyk fight, nobody really cared because of what's just happened. And it was like, whether you thought he won or not, it was terrible. And the fall in credit in the sport of how good Tyson Fury is and all that lot, the fall's dramatic. The drop off is dramatic. So because of who he fought a guy that's in his first fight. And then when he's saying, "Oh, I'm ring rusty and stuff," I get that. 11 months, I get that. But Ngannou's been out for nearly 2 years, and he's never had a pro fight. So you can't really use that as an excuse. And it's fair play to him. I've just watched his interview that he did with Boxing King Media, and he's not making any excuses. It's not really. It's not making. He's just saying you can't take it away from Ngannou. Ngannou did his job on the night. It's a fair play to him.
Dave, I'll end it on this one before I let you get back to enjoying your Sunday evening. You're Alexander Usyk watching that fight. What's going through your mind?
I think Usyk wants that. He's wanted that fight anyway. I think Usyk's mentality. Do you know what? Do you know what's funny? Is Usyk in his last performance got a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Usyk sat there, I'm going, I've just passed the buck straight onto him because he's getting more shit than what Usyk got. But he'll be looking forward to the fight, and he'll want the fight. You know, he's a very, very clever man, and obviously, you've got to remember that I've always felt as though a lot of Fury's assets come from the fact that he's just so big. He's always so much bigger, so much longer, heavier than his opponents. And I've always thought that if it was Usyk and him same sort of size, I feel Usyk beats him all day long. But it's the size for me, the range and everything that, you got to remember Ngannou wasn't that much outweighed by him, but he was in shape as well. Fury looked terrible, Ngannou, I know he's shorter, but he's still got long arms. He didn't have, his range could compete with him.
Reach was the same. They had the same reach.
Right, there you go. So his reach, I didn't know that. So that's what I'm saying. He didn't have that reach disadvantage that everybody else tends to have. And that's where I'm saying is you put Fury in. This is why when people talk about Lennox Lewis and people like Tyson Fury against people like, I'll be honest with you, people like Lennox Lewis would have beaten him because they would have got past that reach. I don't think that would have been much of a problem for him, And that's not to being disrespectful to Fury. I just feel the assets that he's got, the physical assets that he's got, works for him at this time and with the fighters that are around today, and that's why he's been so successful. Going to the Usyk fight, Usyk still, no matter what Fury's is last night, he's still got to figure out the dimensions of Fury and handle that, the size, the reach, the height. He's got to get past that, and that's still going to be a tough job.
Well, listen, we're going to get the fight. It looks like it's going to be next year, not December 23rd. We're going to get it early next year. So listen, as boxing fans, we work inside the sport. We want to see the undisputed heavyweight champion. We need to see the undisputed heavyweight champion. So we are getting it, which is still a silver lining after all that's happened in the sport of boxing lately. So, but Dave Coldwell, always a pleasure to speak to you, my man. And I'm glad you got that makeup off, but I would have preferred it to still be on for this interview, but maybe next time.
No chance, mate.
Listen, Dave, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, mate. I'll hopefully catch up with you soon, mate.
And you, mate. Take care.
Thanks so much, Dave. Thank you.